Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Inside the Picnic. Tom Shanahan is out tonight because under the weather, but Jeremy Ballrick is sitting in, filling in for him. Thanks for having Jeremy on the short notice. We introduce the crew. We have a lot to get to tonight. We have Stephen Reichel. Okay, what's up, Mr. Stephen?
I'm pumped. It's fight week. It's fight week here in Philadelphia. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Okay. Got Eddie Prather in the chat room. Glad to have Eddie in there. We got Folk and Jeremy B and Candy from Fire Up. They're you both fired up. They are.
We're both fired up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's go.
And we got Melfar Jr. And we got Ben in that big hat of his. My God, that's a top hat.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, there you go. You don't get fined.
Okay, Marshawn.
Yeah, that's it. And last but not least, Marvin Powell III. Do I drag him all over? He'll be a bodyguard when it comes in, being in July when I go after that North Carolina State football coach. So that'll be his latest responsibility when I get done with poking that bear or wolf pack.
I'm the one that pokes the bears here. What are you doing?
Oh, wait till I get done with this clown. But we'll leave that for another day. But anyways, let's get to a lot to get to today with what voice I have. And then if I lose my voice, I'm sure there's 6 other people that'll be more than happy to pick it up. All right, we're going to go right to the transfer portal. This isn't fun. This is a real problem here. The portal players are asking to return they're actually getting screwed by their agents who actually want to go back to their old schools, and those spots are already filled. So get this, as of January 16th, there were 10,576 players across all levels in the portal, and 6,846 are still looking for a team. Steven, there's only one word I can say for that. Ouch.
No, there's another one, stupidity.
That too.
All right, listen. We get everyone wants to maximize their opportunities. I still say we need some better guardrails in place when it comes to the transfer portal, and I'm sure we'll get there at some point in time. Unless there's a coach change, or if they bring in a recruit and he's taken your spot where you're supposed to be, and just there's not a plan for you moving forward. The only time I think you should be jumping in the portal, and you see a lot of situations, where some of these guys that, like you just sat there and said, almost more than half of the guys that jumped in the portal don't have a team. And, some schools have already started their off-season workout programs, getting the team together already. So it's rough. I mean, you still want these kids to have educations at some point too. So, being the fact that you have that amount that is still in there, regardless if it's bad advice from an agent or somebody that's working with them, it's not always bright in the transfer portal unless you're one of these 5-star guys and you're trying to maximize opportunities for yourself. You're going into your junior or senior season, and you're trying to get into a program where you're going to get more eyes on you to bolster your draft status or something to that nature. I don't get it. I really don't. I think we're going to see a lot of these guys that, going to be redshirt juniors, seniors to try to figure out where they're still going to wind up being at. But it's a cautionary tale. There's just the transfer portal isn't all the sexy girl in the bar. Sometimes it's better to go with the safe bet.
Now let's go to Eddie Prather in the chat room. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Agents are like lawyers. Some are just ambulance chasers. Good point. Well, Eddie always comes up with the good ones. All right, go ahead, Jeremy.
Well, then you got people like Dante Moore who realized that he was going to be drafted by the Jets and said, okay, I'm going to go back home and fight for a starting job with Dylan Gabriel because that's better than being drafted by the Jets. But other than that, the rest of those guys are kind of messed up because half of those people that went to the schools that filled their position that they left from. The transfer portal needs to be limited to one time in your 4-year career unless there's a coaching change. these guys that are switching schools every year and not building continuity, chemistry, are actually developing their craft and just to get paid. And I understand they need to be paid. I know I was all about the NIL, but I was also about putting a caveat to it. Limit it to whatever it costs per semester for their housing, their books, and everything else, just in case they don't have a full ride scholarship. If you limited it to that monthly and then put the rest into like a trust fund they get when they graduate or go pro, I think that makes a lot more sense. Don't do this automatic 4-year deal that even if they go to the pros after 3, they still get paid a year.
Tandy?
Yeah, they're going to have to revamp the transfer portal. It's useful for those that really need it. Do they need to be transferring all the time? They're supposed to be getting an education. They're supposed to be going to school for an education. Obviously, that's changed a lot though now. And I understand transferring for a better opportunity, but if you're just transferring all the time, you're not getting the consistency. We've talked about these rookies that come out and they go into the NFL and they've been coached by all these different coaches because they've transferred and transferred and transferred. Maybe they haven't gotten the best coaching. Maybe they need consistent coaching, because we've talked about in the beginning, Caleb Williams had how many different coaches? Right. Trevor Lawrence had how many different coaches? Consistency matters as well in your development. So I understand. I'm happy that they're getting paid. But I also think we need to somehow restrict the transfer portal usage as well.
Well,
yeah, who didn't see this coming, right? And nobody could foresee this problem. We've been talking about this problem. John Calipari has been, he's been talking about this for the longest time. He thinks he has a solution because he really cares about the kids. I really believe that he cares about the kids. But this problem is not going to get fixed because of the reason that everybody thinks it should get fixed. It's not. It's going to change. The transfer portal and the NIL and all that kind of stuff is going to change because they're just not going to have these. They're not going to have black and brown kids running around making this kind of money and not getting no kind of education. They're just not going to give them this kind of money. It's just not going to do it. They're going to put some guardrails on this thing because they're just not going to have young black and brown people making this kind of money and having this type of freedom. They're going to rein this thing in at some point in time. I've been talking about it for a long. Nobody cares about these kids. They still don't care about these kids, because if you cared about these kids, you want these kids to get an education. If you're transferring, going to 3 or 4 or 5 schools, where are you graduating from? You're not graduating. And then when you do need something, our times, where are you going? Who can you ask for help? You can't ask anybody for help because you were a mercenary. You went to the highest bidder. So nobody cares about you. You've fulfilled your obligation here. You've moved on. We've moved on. It's a travesty what's going on right now in college sports, and they have to get some guardrails on this thing here, or it's going to get real ugly real soon. And this is every year. This is not just this year. Every year there's 50% or more kids in the transfer portal that are left in the portal, and you can't go back. That's like, hey, I broke up with my girl because I like this girl over here. And then it didn't work out. And then you try to go back to your girlfriend. She don't want you no more. She don't move. So it's ugly. It's real ugly.
Okay, Ben.
I mean, yeah, I agree with Mel. This is going to happen. But what else do you expect? I mean, you're giving these young people money, right? You making sure that they going to the highest bidder. There is no loyalty in college football. Coaches ain't got no loyalty in college football.
Right.
Why is Lane Kiffin the second highest paid coach in college football? Based off of what? You mean to tell me Lane Kiffin could be the second highest? Lane Kiffin, he hit the transfer portal too, didn't he? He went to LSU, didn't he? He went to the highest bidder. Everything that a player does, he's watching the coach do it. You mean to tell me Kirby Smart has won all these SEC championships? Won 2 back-to-back championships, and the guy that makes $1,000 less than him is a guy that ain't never won anything. Lane Kiffin has never won anything. So, do I think it is a problem? Yes. But the NCAA has never done anything for players. Never. Not in the history. And this is proving it. They sat on their hands when they knew this was coming. They waiting on everybody else to do it. If you want to put guard, here's the thing though. I don't want to see no restriction on no players if there ain't no restriction on no coaches now. If players get one transfer, coaches, you can't be Lincoln Riley. You got to stay at Oklahoma. You can't just go to SC because they give you more money. You can't do that. But you know what? But they ain't going to put no restriction on no coaches. And these players are saying, look, 99.9% of us ain't going pro. What? And if you wanted players to care about education, right, you shouldn't get their head coaches 10 million, 15, whatever it is. Education, man, I'm on an athletic scholarship. And you think my coach care about that I'm a Rhodes Scholar? No. He want me to knock this dude out in front of me. Like, hey, coach, man, I think I got a shot to go to Yale as a graduate in a graduate school. Yeah, well, you better make that tackle this weekend. You better do that. So there's just different conversations going on. I don't know what the answer is, but John Calipari is not the savior. Absolutely not. I don't care what John Calipari say. Nope. Because John Calipari benefits. You talking about John Calipari? Who leaves Kentucky basketball to go to Arkansas? Nobody. Nobody does that. You think we crazy, John? You left Kentucky, the blue blood of all blue bloods, to go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, or Little Rock? Stop it. So I do think we need guardrails. Let me start there. But why don't they ask former players what they should do? Ask us. Oh, they don't want to hear from us because we just happen to play in the garden called Common Sense. They don't want that. They want somebody else to do it, but it's a lot of players in college football, and unfortunately, the biggest brands in the world can afford it. And as long as the biggest brands can afford it, you're gonna have these because the transfer portal is perception; it's not reality. That's why 10,000 something in it. But how you think FBS players end up in FCS and Division II and NAIA and Ivy League? Well, not Ivy League, but HB. They ain't going to Ivy League. Sorry, if I can't get an Ivy League out of college, I sure ain't going in the portal. They're not letting me in a list. If I'm at Yale or Harvard, they've made a mistake. Hey Ben, how you get in here? Doesn't matter. They cut the check. And now I get to add it. So I don't know what the answer is, but head coaches like John Calipari, no, he is not the solution.
But at the same time,
he's got some good ideas, I believe.
But
he got some good ideas, but I'm just saying.
I was just looking it up because Eddie Prather asked it. Don't coaches have to pay a buyout to be able to leave? And the answer is yes. The terms are agreed to by the college and the coach, and that's different in the NIL stuff. The NIL stuff is paid by outside sponsors, technically not the school. So you could be with a local place, getting your contract as an NIL player, transfer to a team across country, and still get paid by that local place back home.
All right, Marvin.
I'll take some of that money. I'm just saying. I'll take some.
And I get it. And like I said, I'm not up against the players earning their money. I never said that.
Okay, Marvin, you've heard it all.
Yeah, listen, I think what it comes down to is just we're now acknowledging that this is more than just college. It's more than just business. This is big business. This is billion-dollar business. And this is what Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh said in court to the NC2A, that you've built a business within these universities, but it is a business, and these players are employees essentially who should be compensated for their labor, because all this money that's being generated by these TV contracts, all this money that's going to these coaches, 10 million, 12 million, 13 million, this is off the back of these boys. Okay, the $200 million a year that these schools are making, just based on annual revenue from everything, it's off the back of these boys. So they deserve to get this money. And think about it like this: in America, any person in America, if they had a chance to change jobs or change companies every single year to get more money, they would do it. Every single person would do it. People do that. We know people who do that. We've done that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why are we acting like these kids are wrong for that? I understand the idea of team. I'm a football traditionalist. I really am. But I also recognize that a lot of young men for a lot of years should have been making money in college football and college basketball, and they weren't, because the NC2A had these crazy rules. Everybody was making money except for them. In regards to this transfer portal, in these guardrails. It's in its infancy stage. We're going to see it change and evolve because what's happening now isn't sustainable and really, it's going to be an issue. But in regards to the idea of these boys who just chasing that check, it's the American way. Everything, every great movie you've ever seen in business, every family entrepreneur movie, go get money, go make money. Okay, so they're doing a very American thing. We got to put some guardrails on how we moving around. And again, Ben wants to have the same rules for the coaches. I get that, but no. I mean, Marv, I don't want to have the same. I don't want to have the same rule for the coaches. I just want the coaches to have to abide by something because it's like this. You will see a coach wearing, a Tennessee shirt at a kid's house, and 2 weeks later he's at the same kid's house wearing a Florida shirt. And look, I am not mad at the coaches for getting that money. I'm not mad at them, right? I'm not mad at them. But do you really think these players think some of these coaches are better than them at what they do than what they do? Coach, some of these players do, he ain't better than me at what it's illusion. I want every player to get as much as they can get, but some of these players you think it's 10,000 players in the portal getting money? No. All those players are not getting money.
Oh, I know all of them are.
And the bigger problem is you go to school to develop a marketable skill, right? I mean, and like you said, most of these guys are going to go pro in something else. So, and we know if you've never had money and all of a sudden you get a little bit of money, we know that money's going to go right back where it came from anyway, very soon, very quickly. So now what is the kid left with? What is he left with? He has no education. Okay, that's why these kids are trying to stay so long in school now, going, trying to get 6, 7, 8 years in college now, trying to get that little bitty check. At some point in time, you have to put your big boy drawers on and you have to go out there in the real world and you have to get yourself a real job, right? And you go to school to get yourself a marketable skill so that you can sell something to someone, you sell yourself to somebody. And give yourself and get paid for the skill that you develop while you're in college, whether it's in college or a trade school, whatever. But you have to develop you go to school to develop, to acquire or develop a marketable skill. If they haven't developed any other skill other than playing football, what are we doing? How are we helping these kids? I mean, how much money? I mean, I'm all for making money. How much money do they have to make? I mean, it's the type of money they're talking about right now is ridiculous.
Well, let me put a bow on this thing in a couple of ways. Number one, I'm going to get back to what I said initially when I brought it up. 10,576 players are in it, and on all levels, and 68-46 still looking for a team. If that stat doesn't equal humble pie, tell me what does. I don't know. If that is a wake-up call, if I've ever saw one, and that's why it's on. And another thing it also tells me? I've covered the best bowl game of them all. Forget about what you saw in the college football playoff, the Senior Bowl. Because instead of NIL, you know what we were thinking about, people? NFL. Okay? That's all that matters to me. I didn't have to worry about the insanity of college football. I got to see a bunch of hungry individuals out there pursuing their darn dream. And that's what made this such a great experience for Candy and I over in Mobile, Alabama. And I'm glad we brought this topic on. It's the first topic with all of us together after we came back from that bowl game, because you guys handled it and Gal handled it well. All you have to do is look at the numbers. 10,576 means it is out of control. It is. And the other thing is 6,846 means it's still out of control. The only way that you can change that number a little is if you know you're a prospect, you've already made contact with a place that's going to take you, then you make the move and plan on it as a one-time shot. And I'll get into some of those prospects later on, but I'm glad that does anybody else have anything to say about it? I want to make sure I got those 2 points before we move on to the next topic. Jeremy, is there one thing you wanted to say to it?
I just wanted to add, I still think they need to have to go back to making them sit out a year. So that way,
I don't want them to sit out a year.
Oh yeah, I think they should, because that's going to limit how many people want to do it now. If they're going to school for an education and a marketable skill, as you said, and you're offered a scholarship, You should have to stay where
Coach
that
Calipari had an idea about that. If you transfer, I think it was either the second time or the third time, you should have to sit out a year. You can transfer one time, automatically. If your coach leaves or something like that, you get another opportunity to transfer. If you want to transfer a third time, you got to sit out a year. I think that was an idea that he came up with, and it makes pretty good. It makes all the sense in the world to me.
All right. Well, I'm sure we could go on. We have 11 other things to talk about as well. So, and I don't know who dropped off or who didn't drop off.
Who is that guy right there making those comments?
Oh, that's right. He probably takes care of some other personal business. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Neil London, we'll have to send them out there to Paris or whatever. I like Eddie Frazier's one free transfer, second transfer, sit out. Good point. All right. Well, next thing we're going to talk about 4 teams that have not made the conference championships. Pardon me, Mel?
It's not a
No, I was responding to the comment there. This is not a Diddy party.
Right. One free
I don't know.
I can sit out. I like that.
Okay. All right, let's go back to my original point. Stay on track as much as we possibly can. Yeah, Leo, London, I think it's time for you to go to Siberia. Thank you very much if you're gone. Okay. 4 teams that have not made a conference championship this century. The Texans have never been there. The Browns haven't been there at all, and they've been at it since 1980. Last time was 1989. The Miami Dolphins, 1992. The Cowboys, 1995. Jeremy, we're going to go rapid fire. Which one surprised you, or which one will be the next one, if any of these will break the stein?
Boy, I don't know if the Dolphins or Browns will ever get there. And the Texans, if they don't fix their offensive line, they can't get there.
Okay, Candy?
I think out of all those, the Texans will get there before the other 2. Although there's a lot of coaches that going down to Miami, I don't know, from Green Bay. So you never know.
Yeah. What about you, Mel?
Well, 2 of those are expansion teams, right? The Texans are an expansion team. Cleveland's an expansion team.
Pretty much.
So who will get probably all those teams are in the AFC, or was there an NFC team in there?
Cowboys.
Cowboy. Yeah, they ain't gonna get there. It'll be the Texans probably.
Well, you were so decisive on that, weren't you, Mel? Okay, so who will of the group, Mel?
The Texans. The Texans.
Okay, all right.
He agreed with me.
All right, no problem. All right, what about you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texans as well. I mean, coming from being able to have played in the AFC South, ain't no Peyton Manning's in there no more. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars are chaotic. The Colts can't seem to figure out what to do since Andrew Luck is no longer the quarterback, and I know that Robert Seeley just got there to with the Titans. But yeah, it's the Texans. I think the Browns are the only difference in the Browns and the Bengals is the location in the same state. I mean, it ain't much different than maybe the colors. Ain't much different than the Browns and the Bengals. And the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think they care about conference championships. They care about clicks. If Stephen Jones is sitting next to his daddy with a walkie-talkie, who is Stephen Jones talking to? Where did you find a walkie-talkie? Anyway, it is going to be the Texans. Yeah, it's going to be the Texans.
All right, Marvin.
Yeah, I like, I'll have a different take here. I think Jerry Jones is going to get him one before he gets out of here. I do. I'm going to go ahead and go with Dallas. I think Dak is a real quarterback. I think that when healthy, the Cowboys can be effective. They had their moments this year. The Giants are down right now. The Commanders, we got to see if Jaden Daniels can stay healthy. The Eagles are obviously the juggernaut in that division, but I mean, as you saw, they can be beat. So, yeah, let's see what them Cowboys can do.
Yeah, I have a weird feeling about this. I'm going to go with you, Marvin. The Cowboys, Texans, well, they can't get past the divisional round. That's all I can say. I'll go with the Cowboys.
Hey, them Jags are real. Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't think this was a fluke. I think they're a juggernaut.
Yeah, I like what I saw with Dallas on offense. All right, let's continue the theme. Eddie Prater mentioned it before. Now we're going to elaborate on it. Miami quarterback Carson Beck said that he didn't take any classes at Miami and that he graduated 2 years ago. A user on X said this, maybe controversial, but I don't think a guy who doesn't take any classes should be playing college football. All right, Jeremy, go ahead.
I absolutely agree. I think it's a travesty that he played a year with Georgia without taking classes and now a year with Miami. I think it's awful. I think that needs to end. You have 6 years of eligibility. You better be taking a 6-year degree to get it.
Right. Candy?
I'm okay if you continue on and you're doing graduate level work, but you have to be taking classes and enrolled in classes at school. Otherwise, you're just taking away from somebody else's ability to be in that role and be getting an education while playing.
So there you go, Eddie. We're not done, but we're thinking the same way. Go ahead, Mel.
Yeah, if you're spending 6 years in school, you should leave out of there with a master's degree. You should be once you do your undergraduate work, you should be doing your graduate work. Now, I can't come down too hard on them because even when I was doing undergrad, I wasn't really doing undergrad. I wasn't going to class. I mean, I had classes, but I wasn't going to class. We'd walk down there, we'd see that bear. We'd walk on the Bruin Walk, and we get to the bear, and we'd be like, "You want to go to class? You want to go to the beach?" And 10 times out of 10, the beach won. So I can't even tell you what the upper part of the university really looked like. Somebody took a picture of a fountain, and I said, "What is that?" They said, "That's a fountain." They said, "By the engineering department." I said, "What would I be doing over there by the engineering department? I have no business over there. I've never seen the fountain before. I didn't know they had a little inverted fountain at UCLA."
Okay, well, all right, Ben.
I mean, I hate to say it, but Carson Beck just lived there, man. He just lived the college football dream. I just get to play football. I don't do nothing else. Yeah, he just look. I don't even know how he pulled that. Like, I don't know how he did. I'm not mad at him. But every college football player is saying, "Listen, I want the Carson Beck." What you mean? I just want to play football. I don't want to go to class. I just want to show up to practice. I want to drive a Lamborghini. Now he did say he had already graduated, but I mean, is there really a requirement to stay eligible if you've already graduated from another school? I don't think it's a graduate school requirement. You know, so he look. Some of us get over because we know how to use the system. He used it. Now I hope it don't come back to bite Miami, because see, you don't got to reveal everything. You know, you can lie. You don't got to say, yeah, like, like Anthony Richardson. Why'd you take yourself out the game? Because I was tired. No, lie to me. Don't tell me you was tired, boy. You know what I'm saying? But whatever Carson Beck did, I ain't mad at him. I mean, he was obviously eligible. He came up one game short, and it almost worked out. But Cristobal might have some explaining to do now. I don't know if he got to do it now. It ain't gonna be no NCAA, infractions or nothing like that. But like Mel just said, I mean, I don't know about Mel or Marv. My mom ain't asked me about my grades when I was in college. As long as I stayed eligible, she ain't asked, "How you doing in science?" No, I don't know. I mean, listen, Mama, if I didn't get valedictorian, I'm not getting cum laude either, whatever you call it. I was in position to get none of those. I thought cum laude, was some type of, food or something. I was like, "What is that?" Cum laude. Like, is that a restaurant? No, that's when you, nope. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Cum laude, I don't know. I don't even know what they are. So any football player that say he went to school because he loved football, because he loved academics, he ain't that good of a football player. I guarantee you. He good, but he ain't as good as he could be. So that guy the strongest guy on the team that can lift 700 pounds, he don't play. He got chalk all on his face in the weight room. He don't play. So Carson, do your thing, young man. Stay with whoever stole your Lamborghini. Stay out that area of Miami. Stay in South Beach. Don't go to Hialeah or wherever. Was it Carroll City? Stay away from. But I'm not mad at it, man. I mean, that man played football in Coral Gables and didn't have to go to class. That's a 30 for 30. That's a football story. I want to see that.
Well,
I'm jealous of that. I'll take that.
That's an inside the Pigskin story, and you better start.
That's what I'm saying.
You better start. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm poking that bear here. You better start endorsing the show more often inside the Pigskin, because that's who you represent on this network. All right, Ben? I don't mind being a little bit down chulo where I can acclimate the ideas from you guys poking the bear, but inside the Pigskin should be on the inside of your top hat here. You don't have to. We don't want to mess up the white side of your hat on the outside. Inside the Pigskin, okay? Make sure you're talking about our show as well as the fan in the end. Okay, but I enjoyed that comment anyway.
Just make sure you guys are watching. Listen, Inside the Pigskin every Tuesday night. From 8:30 to 10:30, we got an all-star cast. With Scott.
There you go. he's getting it figured out politically.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Carson Beck, you did your thing, sir. I'm not mad at you. But I am happy that Miami didn't win the championship. Not because of you, Carson. I don't want to deal with the Miami fans. They live in a little bit of delusion. Yes, I went to Florida. We didn't make a bowl game. Who am I to talk? But we don't need them people down there in Miami. You haven't won a national championship since 2001. Your last great quarterback name was Ken Dorsey. I'm just saying, love Cam Ward, love Carson Beck. But I think Uncle Luke and y'all need to pipe down some down there in Miami. Like, just come on, man. Like, calm that stuff down.
Oh, man. There's a reason why we keep you on this show, because you're candor anyways. All right.
Did you say you never went to a bowl game?
Just make sure you advertise the brand right.
Whoa. What'd you say, man?
You said you never went to a bowl game?
No. I said my Gators didn't go to a bowl game this year. We didn't make a bowl game. And I know we probably got some Florida State people in here. The audacity of y'all to win 5 games and get invited to a bowl game and say no. You're in no position to say no. We're not going to go because you was going to lose. So for people that saying, hey, Ben, at least Florida State made a bowl game, they didn't. They got invited. They won 5 games, and we won 4. So we had 9 wins together. Florida State won 9 games in 2025.
So you just needed one more of those bowl teams to say they weren't going to a bowl game to get invited, is what you're saying, Ben.
I know. What I'm saying is Mike Norvell went undefeated 2 years ago, and since then he's won 7 games. He's won 7 games in 2 years. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Marvin. Marvin, you got the last word on this while you can get it.
Yeah. First, listen. Let me address Mel's comment on not going to class. Mel, that explains a lot, man. I wish you would have told me that at the beginning of our relationship, because now I get it. I get it now. Okay. Never moving forward. Listen.
What would have changed?
Right. Information is power, man. Hey, we're right now we are at the beginning stage of a very new era of college football. We've had 100 years of the same thing. If you take an athlete to lunch, he'll be suspended for a year. You give a guy $100, he could lose his eligibility. The athletes generating millions of dollars. Each athlete is generating millions of dollars on a football team, for a scholarship of $100,000 and the education. But the reality is, now in the NIL era, the player has power. This is much more than minors than anything else. So you're going to see certain things that look like NFL in a world where you're so used to seeing college be the same for 100 years. It is what it is, y'all. This has really become the new normal. If a guy gets his degree, if he has his degree and he has another year or two of eligibility, they're going to let him play. He's the Carson Beck. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And listen, it's a struggle because people can't deal with change. That's just what it is. But again, new day, hard transition for a lot of football purists, football traditionalists, and get used to seeing things that we're not used to seeing, y'all, in a day where players are going to have power and players do have power. And the schools allow it to a degree because, again, the schools making so much dang money. That you don't hear a lot of presidents and ADs complaining. You don't hear that a ton. They making buku money, man. You know what I'm saying? So they're accepting the change, and we need to as well. It's a hard change, super hard change, but it is what it is.
Well, I know why Miami called him out. I know why they called him out. He threw that pick and cost them the game.
All right, Jeremy.
He said it himself. They were asking him a question. He said it.
Yeah, the bottom line is this. Stephen, I guess you got off in time, so I'll give you a chance to get a crack in here. But I just want to say this. Candy and I have worked with Beck. He just took advantage of a system and a university that allowed it to do it. And let's not lose sight of the fact, I don't know if this has anything to do with it or not, Miami is considered a private university. They are considered a private. I don't think that they are a state-funded university either.
No, they're private. It's a private school.
Right,
That's
exactly.
like USC. The USC is private. That's why they don't go to class either. They just suit up and play football.
Yeah, but again, Carson Vick, they took what he had to offer. So yeah, obviously he didn't go to any classes, but I guess the only class he better go out there and figure out is you better learn how to study a playbook at the next level, because it's time to get back to work and start studying. All right, Stephen.
Well, you want me to talk about Carson Beck? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the fact that he didn't go to classes for 2 years.
Hey, listen, it just shows you how broken the system is and how stupid of a kid he is at this point in time. If I didn't take a class in 2 years, I did a disservice to myself outside of not being. He's not the best quarterback on the field. He's not the best quarterback in college football. He's not a student athlete. If you don't take advantage of these opportunities that you're given in life, you're wasting your time and you're wasting everyone else's time around you. You've been to multiple different universities over the past few years, and you didn't take the advantage of gaining any type of knowledge from those situations outside of being a quarterback on the football field. He just did himself a disservice. He's not going to be a top touted off pick. He might be even lucky if he's even a third round pick into this coming draft.
It's funny that you say that, Stephen. I've been hearing thoughts that he'd be a third or fourth round pick too, according to my draft board. So I'm glad you brought that up. We'll get into more detail, but I'm glad that you brought it up ahead of time. Let's continue on. And that says, according to WISH TV, Indiana University's Curt Cignetti wins the Bear Bryant Coach of the Year award. Obviously, we know the most recent undefeated season in football was 16-0, and of course we all know about Bob Knight 32-0, greatest football story ever. So, all right, well, again, we've talked about it a lot, and we'll keep talking about it. Some thoughts about Curt Cignetti winning the Bear Bryant Award. One great coach after another, Jeremy. We don't have to spend a lot of time with it. I want to get to one of the other things. Time permitting, everybody will have what we call a parting shot. Will be the new segment that we have. It allows everybody to say what they want to say.
There wasn't a coach in NCAA that deserved it more. Undefeated, wire-to-wire champion. What else can you say about him?
Stephen?
Not surprised. I mean, his performance with his team on the field says enough, and couldn't be happier for him.
Candy?
Couldn't be happier for him. Look what he did. He turned a program around that was not existent and turned a school that was known for basketball, and now it might be known not more for basketball, but will also be known for basketball. Did a heck of a job, and he did it with 4 or 5 star players as well. Great coaching job. Probably the best that'll go down.
Mel?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see something like that again. He took a program that, he raised the program from the dead. He didn't resuscitate the program, and that program was dead, DOA. And he brought the program back from the dead. Just think what he could do if he had Lincoln Riley's class. What would he be able to do? He'd probably be unstoppable if he had was able to get the number 1 recruiting class like Lincoln Riley did out there at USC. But what he did is remarkable. And I've said it all year long. The guys, Indiana was the best football team in the country without question all year long. And the job that he's done there is unbelievable.
Ben?
Yeah, what Coach Cignetti has done is, he's put college football, on notice and say, look, I know everybody wants to talk about having these classes, but it's all about development. And he did it 2 years in a row. Everybody thought he was a fluke in 2024 when they lost 1 game in the regular season. Then they got beat in the first round of the playoffs, and he came back this year. And he ran the gauntlet. Like who played it, who they played. You talking about Ohio State, you talking about Penn State, you talking about Oregon twice. They beat the brakes off of Alabama. They did not beat them. They ran them off the field. Coach Curt Cignetti, you happy for a guy like that? Because it only brings awareness to what he had done up until that point. No one cares about your resume until the last team standing. A basketball school is the top school in college football right now. It's in Indiana. And yeah, you know, I looked at a bunch of the past winners, but yeah, to do what he just did with the teams he had to beat to do it, if he never does it again, people can say, man, you remember what happened in 2025? Yeah, man. The Indiana Hoosiers were on top of the college football world, not college basketball. So congratulations to him. I think that was one of the easiest decisions they've made. Not saying the decision is easy, but yeah, Coach Sig, man, he said, you want to know who I am? Google me. I mean, you can't. Hey, listen, we all love stores, but we love winners even more. Shout out to Coach Sig.
Okay, Marvin.
It's remarkable, you know, when you look at their season this year, just in the regular season, how they dominated a Big Ten schedule. You know, you look at them in the Big Ten championship, they dominated, bullied Ohio State. And then in the playoff games, you know, the 3 games or the games they played prior, you know, just blew out top competition or what were considered to be elite schools, good schools in Alabama and Oregon. And then, you know, found a way to win a tough game against Miami and look good at times doing it, even though Miami's defense played well. They had a great pass rush. This is an all-time great team. This is an historic team. You really could put them up there with the Reggie Bush USC years. I look at, you know, any Alabama's years. This team is as good and did it, you know, without 5-star talent. So great coaching job, tremendous efficiency, played with tremendous physicality, which is just unbelievable. And no, I enjoyed it, and he absolutely deserves Coach of the Year. This is one of the greatest coaching jobs of all time.
Bottom line is to get a statue over at Indiana University. I think it's the first time. Get ready for Indiana football. You better start taking them seriously. Okay, well, let's talk about a guy going to a familiar place. His name is Eric Bieniemy, as he's been hired as offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Prior to that, he had sits with the Washington Commanders, UCLA Bruins, and the Bears. Some thoughts, Jeremy, about Eric Bieniemy landing back with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, every 3 years it's been this way ever since Andy Reid's been there. It's either been Eric Bieniemy or Matt Nagy. It's like they decide if they want to have a guy, which guy they want to hold the clipboard for Pat Mahomes anymore.
Right. Okay. Steven.
Not surprised they brought Eric back. I mean, the offense has been, you know, kind of up, down, all over the place the last few years since he's been gone. You know, I think Andy wants to kind of get some stability back there, some creativeness back there. I'm more surprised Matt Nagy found the job in this this early part of the offseason. So we'll see if it's the right call. I still think they need to get some young playmakers around that team in order for them to kind of get back to that success. They've been leaning on the defense the last few years, so we'll see if Eric can get them firing on all cylinders again.
And I hope eventually this will lead him to a head coaching job. All right, go ahead, Candy.
You know, the Chiefs had great success, and then they haven't looked the same the last couple of years. Smart decision to bring back the guy that led them to much of their success and developed a lot of their star players. So smart decision for Kansas City.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for Eric. I mean, it worked out well for him. He wanted to go out on his own, venture out on his own, because he wanted to show that he had the goods to be a head coach, and things didn't work out in that area. He wasn't able to get a head coaching job. And you look here, 1/3 of the league turned over, and there was not one African-American head coach that was named that got a job this particular hiring session. 1/3 of the league turned over, and there was not one black head coach that was hired. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
An absolute joke at this point in time, right, my friends?
And it's funny you mentioned that, Mel. We will probably talk about that on next week's edition of Inside the Pigskin, but I'm glad you made light of it now. Makes you wonder what the Rudy Rule is all about. Not for tonight, though. All right, go ahead. Then
the Rudy Rule is
well, number one, I think that Patrick Mahomes, he looked around and said, "Look, Big Red. I realized we won 2 Super Bowls with him and 1 Super Bowl without him. We were very, very efficient, and I think something else is brewing. if Andy Reid is making room for Eric Bieniemy to be the next head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, it will be one of the greatest things he's done as a coach. Because I remember when Eric Bieniemy was the hottest offensive coordinator in football, right? And no one wanted to hire him. I wonder why. God, I cannot figure out why they didn't want Eric Bieniemy. I just can't put my finger on it. I don't get it. But
you know what? I'm going to interrupt you here. I'm going to interrupt you because you're really onto something, and then you can continue. All right. I'm with you on this one. Now you got my instincts turning, okay, and that's dangerous, okay, Ben. You said a mouthful here. This makes Pop Rocks look like nothing, okay, for those of you that remember them. You are so dead accurate. I remember when Bruce Arians set the table for Todd Bowles to take over, and what you just said here, Troop, is the same damn thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Andy Reid is using the same thing to get Eric Bieniemy a job with Kansas City. All right, continue, Ben. You got me going.
I hope that's what. I hope that's what he's doing. But here's my thing, right? And I know Marv and Mel can speak to this as well, right? While I appreciate Art Rooney and the Rooneys, I don't like it when something has to be instituted for black guys to get head coaching opportunities because it makes it look like, hey, dude, can we get them without it? No, because you ain't getting it with it. You're still not getting opportunities with it. And I'm gonna keep saying this. I know, do not hire me as a head coach because I got melanin in my skin. Just don't not hire me because of it. Like, don't hire me because of it. Just don't not hire me, because I think what's happening is in a situation like Eric Bieniemy is, right? I thought the goal was become a big-time coordinator on offense or defense, and you get a head coach job. I thought that's how you became head or have a famous daddy that either coached or played, like like the Kubiaks. Their daddy was he's a head coach, but he stuff like that. So I think that Patrick Mahomes went to Andy Reid and said, "Man, I need Eric back." Like, dude, it ain't. If we're not gonna win, I at least want to look good. Not winning, we don't even look like ourselves anymore. Now we dealing with it, because let's face it, Patrick Mahomes is still obviously one of the faces of the National Football League, but he hasn't been himself. So I hope that Andy Reid is setting something up like that. I think he has enough cachet, and I think that ownership with the Chiefs respect him enough to bring Eric Bieniemy in. And I just don't get it, though. These hiring cycles, they come and go. And you just be like, all right. I mean, Van Joseph and all these guys that's been coaching really, really well. Brian Flores, who's better at calling defense?
They recycle guys, man. Guys with losing jobs.
I'm going to say this again. I don't know how to day trade and all that kind of stuff, but Mel, Marv, somebody going to do something crazy. Like, let us get, like a small minority ownership in a team, right? And I just want to sit in these meeting rooms and see, because is it true that the Miami Dolphins hired Troy Aikman to help them find a coach? What do Troy Aikman know about? I said, wait a minute. What? So Dan Marino said, who can help us find a coach? Troy Aikman. You talking about the guy that's on there with Joe Buck? Yeah. What would he know about finding a coach? He's Troy Aikman. And so I just want to be in
Troy's
these
always
rooms.
wanted to do that.
Listen, look, Mel.
He wanted to work in the front office before he went to TV.
I could have helped Cleveland find a coach. I can't do no worse. I could go in there and say,
but here's you have to understand. Here's you have to understand. Troy's in a lot of production meetings with a lot of these different people, so he does have a feel for a lot of different people because of his job. He gets to talk to a lot of different people. So I mean, I understand it from that point. Now, as far as what does he, what does he know that somebody else doesn't know that maybe you or I don't know? I don't know. As far as business wise is concerned, I don't know. But he does have those relationships, and he does have the opportunity. He has access. He has access where he spent a lot of time with these people. He's able to talk X's and O's with them and so forth and so on during production meetings. So he gets a feel for people. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, though, Mel. I mean, think about this though. I mean, Matt Ryan just got hired to be the president with Atlanta Falcons. What experience would Matt Ryan have? None.
I don't know.
And so all I'm saying is, when we are the owners, We make the decision.
But,
Hey, man, who you
but
want?
we don't know. I mean, maybe Matt was with Arthur all the time while he was here. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe that was his son. He was walking. Maybe I don't know. We don't know what happens behind the closed doors. Remember, you said you like to be in one of those meetings like that. We don't know what's going on behind.
Arthur Blank is one of the most respected owners in football. I wouldn't say his decisions have been the best. I mean, he hired Dan Quinn, right? I mean, and then you go get Raheem Morris, and while he might, and then you get Terry Fontenot. All I'm saying is, right, some of the, Detroit and Atlanta, them some of the blackest cities in America, right? You hire Matt Ryan to be your president. All I'm saying is there's a little tone deafness going on because what does Matt Ryan... Look, I could be 100%. I'm not saying you got to go out there and get somebody else. What I am saying, when you start talking about a city like Atlanta, and you start talking about the way they treat the fan base in Atlanta is they'll say, well, the reason why the fans ain't is because of where Mercedes-Benz is and all these things. If you are an owner, you make the decision. We live with it. I don't think it's a perfect science to do it, but. When you start talking, if you don't think certain things happen because you're trying to appeal to a fan base, I think that's good marketing sometimes. It's the Atlanta Falcons. Are they going to the Super Bowl anytime soon and winning anything? I mean, I'm just saying, I hope that Eric Bieniemy gets an opportunity to be a head coach only because he's earned it. Forget who he is. Look at what he's done.
Had Michael Vick not had that little dogfight, little incident, he might have been up in there.
Who?
Michael Vick, had he not had that little,
Hey, Mel, all right, Mel. Hey, you want to take over the
He's the
job
head
as
coach
executive
right now.
producer?
What are we talking about?
Hey, Mel, he's volunteering for the job for executive producer. Okay, now you're adding Michael Vick. Where does he involved in all this business there?
I'm just saying,
Really?
Arthur Blank loved Michael Vick. He wheeled him out there in the wheelchair when he broke his ankle and all that kind of stuff. He loved Mike. He'd go over to the house all the time.
We're talking about Eric Bieniemy. We're not talking about Michael Vick.
Well, he was talking about Matt Ryan, and so we just went to Michael Vick.
I mean, if Michael Vick becomes the president of operations with the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Blank is no longer the owner. He done sold the team. I get he done went back to Home Depot.
I said if he hadn't had that little incident.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I mean, the reality is.
But you got to understand, it's not going to change because you look at the 32 owners. I mean, that's the reason why it's not going to change.
Well, you want to be around who you're comfortable with. I'm not. Look, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with being around who you're comfortable with. I have no problem with that. I mean, most of these head coaches that get head coaching jobs, they're bringing guys that have been with them. I guarantee you, there's a dude named Rich Bisaccia. Every time John Gruden was a head coach, that was his office. That was his special team coach. He was down there in Tampa with him. He was over there in Oakland. So I'm not. Look, at the end of the day, if somebody say, hey, Ben, somebody hit me with the Pat McAfee and say, hey, Ben, I want to get you on your crew. We want to hire you guys. Who you think I'm calling? I'm calling Mel. I'm calling Marv. I'm calling Scott. You see what I'm saying? So I get that part. I ain't tripping with that part. But at a certain point, mediocrity got to matter, right? They're not getting it done. That's all I'm talking about.
I remember this 3 years ago when Eric Bieniemy, when we were like, why wasn't he getting hired? And we found out of the 10 coaching interviews, he accepted one of them. And when that owner was interviewed, he had a horrible interview. He gave horrible review of what Eric Bieniemy said. And that's why he didn't get the head coaching job. But he turned down 9 that year. I remember this, Scott, because it was back when I first started with you.
Right.
And
Well, the bottom line is, you just move the clock forward here. Okay, how many has it turned down since?
It goes back to what happened at that college when he was an assistant coach.
All right, I get it. All right, the bottom line is with the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, Marvin, I know you're soaking all in. Don't worry, I'll give you plenty more airtime tomorrow on.
No. Listen, a lot of good points. I'll take this differently though. Listen, if you watch the Chiefs this year, there were times where their offense was sputtering. They really a lot of new players, and Eric Bieniemy was known as the accountability coach. He was the one that was in practice getting on dudes, getting on dudes and making dudes emotional and pressing dudes. And listen, you've heard Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes praise him for that. You know what I'm saying? So he really is bringing back something special. He has tremendous value to this team, to this offense, to these players. Because of the fact that he has so much respect from Mahomes and Kelce, you'll see guys fall in line. And trust me, just from what I've seen, and I know guys that know him, he's going to get his respect. So, he's bringing a higher degree of accountability for an organization like the Chiefs. This is really a phenomenal move, a great move, shouldn't be a surprising move. This is what championship teams do. They want accountability. You know what I'm saying? They bring it, they invite it. So, great hire. And I hope it leads to a head coaching job at some point.
We'll see. Again, I think that Ben, I'll go back to what Ben said, though. And you were actually on a roll with me there, Ben. I have a gut feeling, and it's just because of what Bruce Arians did with Todd Bowles, that if he doesn't get a head coaching job and Reed's ready to retire, somehow, some way, I think you're onto something there, Ben. And now I'll never let you live this one down because we're both on the same page about it. Follow me? And that's a compliment. True.
Hey, listen, I take the compliment. I mean, Andy Reid has done it at two different places. I mean, Andy Reid has done some incredible stuff. Andy Reid, we were talking about Mike Vick. Andy Reid was the one that gave Mike Vick a job when he got out of jail. So when he got out of jail, he went to the. So I know what Big Red means, right? To the coaching carousel, he understands. I got to utilize my influence and impact while I have it. I remember Michael breaking news. Tony Dungy Tony Dungy went to the Rooney's and told him when they were trying to pick a coach. When they were trying to pick a coach, he said, "I know this young guy. I know this young guy out there in Minnesota named Mike Tomlin." They ended up hiring him. The same Tony Dungy went to Andy Reid and said, "Hey, I've been counseling and mentoring Mike Vick. He's changed his life." And Mike Vick was playing at like a MVP level at one point when he was with the Eagles. So I just know what Andy Reid means to coaches. And look, like I said, I mean, leverage is something that we all wish we had, but when you do have it, you need to use it. I think he's going to use it. Doesn't mean he's going to get the job, but I guarantee you, if Big Red go to the front office and say, "I think you ought to give Eric Bieniemy a shot," and he got Patrick Mahomes right there behind him, I think they're going to consider him. So that might be his best shot to get one. We'll see.
Well, there's a rule in journalism, and I'll say this to everybody that's listening to me right now: follow your instincts and your gut. And I could care less on any, and that's what I've been doing for the last 47 years. If you have a gut feeling, you have an instinct, you got to roll with it. And that's where I come up with a lot of my storylines. I hope everybody can take that and apply it any way they see fit. I'm not saying I know everything, but I've learned a whole lot, and that's the one thing that leads me to some of the conclusions that I make. Let's continue on. The Texans against the Patriots brought in the most viewers ESPN has ever, and I receive ever had, for a single event since the company began in 1979, at 38 million viewers. That to me is mind-boggling. Of all the events, that's why that topic made this show. It's 38 million. I think the Texans and the Patriots, of all the games and everything, Jeremy, what else can I say? Since 1979, that was the event that got them the most.
Well, Patriots, you're not just talking about Boston. You're talking about all of New England. They're called the New England Patriots for a reason. They're the only professional team from Boston north there. So I get it. That they got watched by everybody there. And then you had the Houston Texans, which is a top 25 market?
Right.
So you got a quarter of the country probably watching between the two of them. Yeah. I think it's great. It's great. Great exposure. But it also exposed some flaws in C.J. Stroud's game. I can say that.
All right, but let's just stay on point with the statistical number of viewership, and because that's what the whole point of the topic is all about. Steven?
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's nice, hitting that number. I think Jeremy already hit it, but when you have, two of the top 5 viewing markets in there, it's not that surprising. I mean, regardless of what ESPN has done in the past, you have to think of how games or sporting events are consumed now, and the reach is larger now than it's ever been on. Regardless if we're talking ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, whatever it is, the the ability to reach further now is bigger than it was when we were on terrestrial television. So not surprised.
Okay, Candy.
Not surprised. I mean, let's face it, there are fewer games going on, and so there are fewer other things to get in the way. Plus, you had two of the biggest media markets, or two of the top couple media markets as well. So, NFL is definitely marketed themselves well, and they're making lots of money.
Mel.
Yeah, it's just football flexing their muscles, showing how big and bad they are. You know, it doesn't surprise me. You know, football is king.
Ben.
It's weird. I mean, it's weird. I mean, you'll take it, but it's weird to say the least. I mean, if you would have told me that's going to be your highest viewed game, the Patriots and the Texans. I mean, I understand that. Yeah, I understand they view a market, but you just never know when it comes to these fans. I mean, you know, I know that I'm gonna stay away from the CJ Stroud game, but hey, man, this Patriots team, sometimes people hating you is a good thing too, because they want to watch you lose just as much as they want to see you win. So I know that the Patriots got a love-hate type relationship when it comes to fandom. I don't really know what a Houston Texans stand. I would have thought that maybe a Dallas Cowboy game would have been higher, but hey, man, that just shows what I know. I mean, 38, they said it peaked at like 44 million. $44 million viewers for a playoff game in the playoffs. I mean, I wouldn't even want to compare that to any other sport with that type of viewership. So that's going to put some pressure on the Super Bowl, man. 44 million? 44? Yeah. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, and the thing, Ben, that it's actually – the network's been around since 79, and that's the best game they've ever had. Since 79 with everything. They say the ESPN, the leader in sports television, the mother network, whatever you call it. But I still find it hard to believe. It's mind-boggling that they're number one. Marvin, you can close it out.
Listen, I'm switching gears here on y'all. It makes me feel good because I remember back during Colin Kaepernick, in that situation, you had all these people who said they were going to walk away from the NFL. They're done with it. They didn't want to watch the NFL anymore. They're sick and tired of it. Obviously, people have changed their minds and haven't changed their heart because the numbers is up there. College football, obviously, this game in particular. So it's a good thing. Like Mel said, football is king. The NFL has done a phenomenal job of growing their sport. And, they're about making money, man, and they're finding ways to bring people in, bring people together. Football is a sport that brings us together. And, I love it. I love it. And I'm looking forward to the players getting a bigger part of that money in the CBA.
All right, well, next topic. Sam Darnold makes USC history and becomes the first USC quarterback, and I repeat the word start, START, a Super Bowl. Jeremy, for the tradition that you have at USC, okay, he's the first one to start in the Super Bowl is also mind-boggling.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of history making for USC. It's crazy to think, as long as the NFL's been around and the Super Bowl itself, this is Super Bowl 60, and it's the first start from an USC quarterback. Right. And he's also the first quarterback out of that draft class that year to start in a Super Bowl. We're talking about Josh Allen and other guys that were considered great coming out.
Okay. Steven.
I mean, listen, there isn't a whole lot of great USC quarterbacks to kind of pull from. And obviously, you have Carson Palmer, right? You got Mark Sanchez. Definitely several levels below, but you had some other good ones in there. Rodney Peete didn't quite get his chance. He was a part of some those Lions team that he was here in Philadelphia for a few years, had some opportunities, just couldn't get everything put together. So I mean, if you're a USC fan, I guarantee you, Trojan Nation is definitely getting behind Sam Darnold right now. I do think this is a very winnable game for him. So for the USC alumni, good thing to kind of get you excited for the Super Bowl coming up here.
Candy. Candy.
No, I know. I was just reading something. USC, for Sam Darnold to go from where he has, it's just been pretty remarkable how he's gone from one team to another team, and to be the first USC quarterback in a long list of USC quarterbacks to start the Super Bowl is surprising to me.
Mel, I know this one pains you.
No, not at all. Not one bit. I mean, look here. I've been a person who said publicly that I never really cared for Sam Darnold, and I'll be the first one to say that I was wrong about him. I have a lot of respect for him and what he's done this year, how he's turned his career around. Obviously, it probably wasn't him. It was probably the places that he was in. So I don't have a problem whatsoever. I mean, we've had our share of Super Bowl moments. So I mean, the sun shines on the dogs behind every now and again, and Sunday is that day.
And
Yeah, I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I mean, if you would have told me that Sam Darnold was the first, really? I mean, you talk about Matt Leinart, Matt Barkley. I remember Matt Barkley. I mean, he was supposed to be. You talk about Caleb Williams, but Sam Darnold, I mean, third overall pick in that draft. He was not talked about enough because it was so many quarterbacks, right, in that draft. Lamar Jackson, I think, was pick number 32. I think they drafted back up in the first round. But that's why quarterbacking is not a perfect science. Sometimes it's scheme team, right? And you can go out there and do your thing. I mean, Sam Darnold started out with the Jets, and he went to Carolina, then he went to San Francisco, then he went to Minnesota. Now you see him. Sam Darnold is why you got to just give these quarterbacks time. Like, it ain't gonna just happen just cause. And I know RG3 had a lot to say about how he went down the list of quarterbacks saying, man, he made it to the Super Bowl before all these quarterbacks. And somebody said he made it before you too, RG3. He made it before. Don't leave yourself out because you was a number 2 overall pick. So I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I think the way in which he plays football and how his team just rallies around him. I mean, it helps when you got Kenneth Walker and JSN and those guys. But he's the guy. So I'm happy for him. And the Mark Sanchez's of the world, the Matt Barkleys, the Matt Leinarts, the Carson Palmers, they're gonna be watching, man, because just like Jalen Hurts is why Randall Cunningham and Donovan McNabb, those guys were saying, all right, somebody finally got a chance. Hey man, I didn't think it was gonna be Sam Darnold, but here we are, and we will save the best for last for one Marvin. But hey man, congrats to them Trojans. They finna add some more trash talking. They got all the Heismans. They got too many national championships to name. Now they get to potentially say Super Bowl MVP. Hey man, we'll see if it happens.
okay, we'll turn over to Marvin. Great segue, Ben.
Yeah, listen, responding to Stephen Rochelle's comments about not many USC quarterbacks, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we've had 3 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, Matt Leinart, Caleb Williams, and Carson Palmer. We've had over 20 guys drafted at quarterback to the NFL in the modern era. And, we have a proud tradition of NFL quarterbacks, throughout the league's history. And Sam Darnold is the first of all these great players to start in a Super Bowl. And you guys are right. the Trojan family absolutely is supporting Sam Darnold. It's remarkable to think that he's the first when you think about all the guys who've had stints in the NFL, even if they weren't long careers. A lot of guys have started in the NFL from SC. So, yeah, this is historic. It really is. And now the focus is, can he finish? Can he be the first to not only get there, but to win it? And I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. Hard not to. Okay, Let's continue on. One guy who's not too happy these days is former still technically the Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, who was visibly upset and told coaches he won't be returning after he learned that they were hiring Todd Monken instead of him. He does have 2 years remaining on his contract, so he's technically employed. Jeremy, Jim Schwartz, I know they can talk about his future destinations, but he's still technically employed by the Browns. Where do you see this one going? Do you think? Well, first of all, 2-part question. Do you think he should have been the Browns' new head coach? And second, where do you? Okay, go ahead.
Simple answer is yes. He came out to the front office. He told them he wanted the job before they got anybody to even accept an interview from him. And lo and behold, the only one that accepted an interview was John Harbaugh's OC that didn't want to be an OC because he wanted to be a head coach. And that was the only invite he got. So he took the job, and he basically stole it. Jim Schwartz feels like they pulled the rug out from under him.
Okay.
And I don't blame him a bit.
Okay. Fair enough. Good insights. All right, Steven.
I mean, it's sad, just to see what they're doing to this guy. He's paid his dues at this as point in time, and the fact that you go out and then hire someone, I don't blame him whatsoever. I mean, he's in as you said, like he's got 2 years under his contract, so he's in a unique situation. He's a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. He left here in Philadelphia because he knew he wasn't going to get a chance here. He winds up going to a couple different locations and settling there. I mean, you really got to think what the Browns ownership doing is when you alienate a guy like Jim Schwartz, who's paid his dues at this point in time. If you weren't going to hire him, you should have just let him go so he could potentially find a spot. Now he doesn't have a chance to find a spot, so you kind of put him in a situation. So you would have to think that as an organization, they would block a lateral move, like if he's not going to be a head coach, which there isn't really any positions up unless someone else gets fired over here in the next couple of weeks. So he's in a real spot, and I don't blame him for being upset. I don't blame him for walking out, out of the facility. He's paid his dues. He deserves it. I don't know why you would do something like that to somebody like Jim Schwartz. It's not like he's a 35, 36-year-old man that's just like, all right, well, I want my opportunity then. He's paid his dues. He's been on bad teams. He's coached bad teams. So and he's been on winning teams. So he knows what a winning team looks like. So let him get the chance to kind of put it together. I think he's already went through the trials and tribulations of it. So. And let's be real, like the Cleveland Browns defense has been the only thing worth talking about in Cleveland in the last handful of years, regardless of if it was just Myles Garrett, the freak wonder edge rusher down there or not. It's just a bad look, and Cleveland once again finds a way to punch themselves in the face.
Judy.
He was a head coach.
Yes.
Back in the day. And did he have a lot of success with the Lions? No. So some coaches are better as defensive coaches or coordinators. Some are better as head coaches. Sometimes it really depends on the situation that you're going to. And do I think he deserved the head coaching job? Sure.
He didn't even look, did he?
No, he didn't see it. Mel, look up.
Where'd you find that at?
Had it made.
Oh, okay. All right, continue on, Candy.
So I think sometimes coaches, they're better at the coordinator than they might be at the head coach. Do I think he deserved it? Shot at being head coach again? Yes. Do I think the timing stinks? Yes, because a lot of the other spots are already taken. But remember, he is under contract. So he was under contract for the job that he currently is in. Whether he's going to stay there or not remains to be seen.
Well, Eddie Fraser is right. Jimmy Haslam is a turbo owner and won anything. All right, Mel, go ahead.
Anthony Weaver, Eric Bieniemy, Brian Flores, Vance Joseph, they're saying, welcome to my life. That's just another day.
Right.
He's had an opportunity. It sucks. You just got to keep moving. That's what we do. You just keep stepping and you just hope the opportunity comes along again at some point in time. I mean, what else can you do? There's no need in getting upset and pouting and all that kind of stuff, because that's not going to change anything. I mean, you just got to pull it. You got to put the big boy pants on and you gotta grin and bear it, and you got to deal with it, and then just hope that you get another opportunity somewhere down the line. This is big boy football. This is big boy profession. These kind of things happen. There's a lot of things that I want. I'd like to be 7'2" in the starting center for the Lakers, but guess what? I'm 6 foot, and I'm sitting here with you guys.
All right, Ben.
Yeah, I think the thing about Jim Schwartz is I think he's living in a perception-driven world. I mean, nobody was really talking about Jim Schwartz in his coaching cycle. I realize he has more respect for the Browns than the Browns obviously have for him. He holds them in a high regard. And sometimes when you've been around an organization for a long time, they know what you are. Even though you are, really dictating one side of the ball, they're saying, yeah, dude, but can you run a team? Like, are you good for this team? Because let's face it. There ain't a lot of people clamoring to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Now, that's not something you're going to hear every day.
Right.
I want to be the head coach of the Browns.
Yeah.
You know how low life has gotten it's gotten rough when I want to be the head coach of the Browns. No disrespect to them, but I think Candace said it. Not that he's the same guy since he left Detroit, but that wasn't a good time now. You ain't Dan Campbell. When I was with the Titans, Jim Schwartz was the defensive coordinator, so he understands guys. But just like an actor don't like being typecast at a certain point. I think the NFL is telling him, dude, you a coordinator. You don't like that, but you're a coordinator. You're a defensive coordinator, and most guys won't even get a shot to be a head coach. You have, but he thought that because time has went by, people have forgot. No.
He did take Detroit to their first playoff appearance.
Baker Mayfield took the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs, and Kevin Stefanski got rid of him. I'm just saying, like we never know. Yeah, so I will say this: do I think that Jim Schwartz is a good coach? Yeah, I mean, I got a chance to be around him for 4 years, but just because I go up to the front office, if they didn't say, "Hey, Jim, we're going to have you in for an interview," I mean, I Coach Brady. I mean, he get to be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. They hiring from within doesn't usually work. It doesn't usually work in college, and it sure don't work in the NFL. I need to bring somebody fresh in. I mean, Ty Monkey been around a long time.
Guys.
So yeah, I don't know. It's the Browns, man. Like, is it? I mean, is it really gonna matter? It's the Browns. Like, Ty Monkey gonna come in and have a high-powered offense, and they gonna lose by 20 instead of 30. Okay, so we'll see. But I like what you said, man. I mean, if you are these other coaches, they thinking, man, listen, Jim Schwartz being the head coach of the Browns, the only way it would be like Brian Schottenheimer being the only coach on the Dallas Cowboys list last year. I don't think no other team had Schottenheimer in as a head coach. Hey, man, hopefully he'll get another opportunity, but it's a lot of worse things in life than to be $1 million paid a defensive coordinator in the NFL. I mean, I know you want to run a team, but he'll be all right. And while he's getting ready to leave the last 2 years, he better make sure he got something else set up. Because I know Mrs. Schwartz don't like that. Like she's like, what the hell you mean? We ain't gonna do this.
Right.
Better get right.
Well, the bottom line is he inherited an 0-16 Lions team to begin with. What do you expect? And he got it respectable for a couple of years. So it's not like he did bad work there. Problem is, when Lions head coaches leave, they don't get another job, and that's really the curse that you have there. But I breathe it, and he wanted to go to retire. Job. How many people turned the darn thing down, and he wanted it? I'll go back to what you said there, Mel. All right, Marvin.
It's all density. I mean, I'm not saying the Browns ain't in the wrong too now. I mean, think about this. I think that's what it was. Jim Schwartz goes upstairs. That's a lot of ego being put to the side to say, hey, man, I want to be the head coach now. We good. He's like this. Really? You telling me no? Yeah, we got somebody better in mind. You got somebody. Okay, cool. So I don't know how that went, but when I was with the Tennessee Titans, I mean, we went 4-12 my first year and 5-11 my second year, and we was in we had a player named Troy Fleming that was from Battleground Academy right there in Franklin, and we was at a football game, me, him, and Albert Haynesworth. And, the kids came up and asked us for an autograph, right? And Albert Haynesworth, he's big time. And the kid asked for an autograph, and he said, sorry, little man, I'm busy. That kid said, you said no to a fan? You play for the Titans. Y'all suck. Like, this little kid knew you are in no position to be turning down autographs, sir. You play for the team. I'm just saying, like, that's some audacity for the Haslam family to say, we good. And then he goes, you got Todd Monken? Wow. I'm just saying.
The guy that Jim Harbaugh fell on the sword for. But they wanted Harbaugh to get rid of Monken. And he could have kept his job. What the word is.
Go figure. Okay, Marvin.
Yeah, you know, I don't feel bad for the dude. I mean, at the end of the day, he's under contract. If he doesn't want to coach, that's on him. I think this is a lot of ego and entitlement. You know, unless there were conversations that we're not privy to, and he was led to believe that there was to be opportunity for him to do this. On the other hand, I hope the bigger thing is that they recognize they have a quarterback in Shador, and they're thinking about an offensive-minded head coach, someone who could be a great mentor leader for him. I hope that's how they're thinking. So we'll see, man. But yeah, Jim Schwartz will be all right. He'll get another opportunity. I just hope that Shador that they get a good offensive coach to help this young quarterback grow.
All right, we'll end it on that one. That's a good point. Okay, Sam Darnold, by the way, is 0-4 versus the Patriots in his career and is looking for his first win in the Super Bowl. Rapid fire on this one if we're going to get the parting shots. Jeremy, does he make it 1-4?
As long as Quint Kubiak doesn't have 1 foot out the door coaching this game, the Seahawks should win. They have the better roster.
Good enough. Okay, Steven, rapid fire.
I already said I've been sitting there saying it that Seattle defense is better than the Legion of Boom. I do think the New England Patriots deserve to be there. I'm going with the veteran, and I think Drake May will be one of these few quarterbacks that does have a chance to make it back there. I'm going with the veteran. I'm going with Sam Darnold. I'm going with that Seattle defense who is on fire right now, and it's going to be a rough time in the NFC West because that's a hell of a division as well as that NFC North as well. It's going to be an interesting time, but the Seattle Seahawks should be the Super Bowl champions when we return next week.
Okay, Candy.
Yeah, I think Seattle's defense is too tough for Vrabel, May, and the Patriots' offense, but you never know. Why they played again?
All right, Mel.
So you're asking us to pick the winner of the game? Is that what the question
more or
is?
less. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is Sam Darnold's 0-4. Will he be 1-4? Yes or no?
He's 0-4 in what?
All time against the Patriots in his career.
Oh, all time against the Patriots? Oh.
In his career.
Yeah, he's got to win sometime,
So it's Sunday sometime?
Why not now? Look here, I'd like for Sam to win as much as, I don't like where he went to school. I like the story, and I'd like to see, I like the redemption story, and I like the opportunity for him to, tell the other 31 teams, for him to pull his pants down and tell everybody to kiss, his entire backside. I like that.
So are you saying he's going to win Sunday?
I'm gonna go with the Seattle. Yes.
There you go. Okay, yeah. All right, Ben.
Yeah, Sam does go 1-4 against these Patriots because the Patriots are just like the New York Yankees. They are the New York Yankee version of the evil empire. You do not let the evil empire win anything. Come on, yeah. Sam gets his first Super Duper Bowl, and I'm looking forward to seeing him doing it. I'm looking forward to seeing Mike Vrabel and Drake May and Mr. Diggs, who was dating Nicki Minaj, says if he wins the Super Bowl, he's gonna marry Nicki Minaj. Well, she ain't getting married. It's not happening, Diggs. Give me Sam
Nicki Minaj.
I'm just saying. Give me Sam I'm just saying. I mean, nothing screams I don't want to get married more than I got to win a Super Bowl to do it. What type of engagement is that? That ain't it. Give me Sam Darnold. He gets 1-4.
Okay, Marvin.
Yeah, the 0-4 means nothing. This is a new team, new situation, new energy, new coaches, new players. It's just different. It's new. This guy's grown since then. So, listen, at one point, Jordan was 0-4 against the Pistons. You know how that ended up, right?
Right.
I'm not, nobody's worried about this. I do believe that he ends up being 1-4 Super Bowl champion. him or that running back would be MVP.
Yeah. So you're going with Seattle as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got to go with them as well. I got
the U.S. Seahawks.
Tom was sort of once told me because God delays does not mean that God denies.
I like
Okay.
Well,
so
all it took from saying is to
that-
get out of New York.
That applies here. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. If everyone wants to get parting shots in here, then I'll get to these topics. If they don't, let me know. Okay, I have 2 to get to. Both Jason Taylor and safeties coach Will Harris have or are in the process of interviewing for NFL jobs. Do you think one or both of these, Jeremy, has a chance to get an NFL job?
Considering not every assistant coach and defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator has been filled yet, yes, they do have a shot to get a job in the NFL because that's how they get their start as position and assistant coaches. Because let's face it, the ones that went straight to head coaching, they didn't do so hot.
And by the way, these 2 are Miami Hurricanes, just so you know. All right, go ahead, Steven.
I couldn't even tell who you were talking about. I didn't know what the topic was. But
Good question
Jason
again.
Taylor. Okay. Both Jason Taylor and safeties coach Will Harris, both of the Miami Hurricanes, have or are in the process of interviewing for NFL jobs. You think they're going to get one of them?
I mean, I'm sure Miami would definitely like to bring Jason Taylor in the building. You know, the Dolphins need something to get excited about. I know he's been doing a lot of recruiting down there in Miami, so I'm not sure what position he would kind of be. I mean, there is still jobs available, but they're dwindling by the minute. You're giving me an over under if they will be hired. I mean, I would say that we're already more than 3/4 through the hiring cycle. I would probably say not this year, but I do think that both of them have opportunities over the next few years to potentially land somewhere in the NFL.
Okay. Candy?
I think one of them will land. I hope it's not, but I think it'll be Jason Taylor. I think he's done a remarkable job with Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor, and I've seen how he interacts with them. I think he will be hired.
Fair enough. Of course, you and I are close to the situation. I'll say if any of the 2 gets hired, it's Jason Taylor for sure. I had the opportunity to talk with him. I don't know how much time he's got left in Miami, but the few minutes I got with him told me that he's not going to be there long term. He's just waiting for the right opportunity and his kids to get out of school, then he'll take off. All right, Mel.
Which 2 guys are we referring to? Who are we talking about?
Jason Taylor, Will Harris. Both of the Canes.
Well, where is Will Harris coaching at?
Miami.
Oh, they're both coaching at Miami?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd probably say Jason Taylor would probably be the first one to get hired at some point in time.
Okay, Ben.
Yeah, I definitely think Jason Taylor get a shot. It's gonna depend on the head coach. He got to have a little cachet to be able to say, "Look, man, I'm breaking Jason Taylor, and you ain't gonna say a word." Like he's gonna be our D-line coach or assistant. So yeah, I mean, Jason Taylor. I mean, you could do a lot worse than having a guy that has that much experience, and he's not just walking away from football. I mean, walking away from the NFL into coaching. He's coming from college. So he understands, and you want to have a coach who's old enough to know what these youngers be listening to on the radio, but old enough to say, all right, I don't listen to it, but I can resonate with these guys. So yeah, Jason Taylor, man. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time down there in the 305. I think somebody gonna give him a shot.
Marvin.
Jason Taylor did a phenomenal job with Miami defensive line, those defensive ends. Great teacher. He's done it at the highest level. Respected, and he absolutely will be the first to get a good job in the NFL.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, let's talk about our feature, the topic of the night. And it's obviously talks about history will be made at the Super Bowl. Why? Because the Patriots will make NFL history in the Super Bowl either way and win, and they'll have the most. And they're currently tied with the Steelers at 6. So a win puts them in 7. A loss obviously puts them in 6, and they'll surpass the Denver Broncos. So history will be made. Jeremy, some thoughts?
Win or lose, it's an amazing run by the Patriots. They got there. There's more than 14 teams that's never won one at all, and another 8 that's never been there at all. So
right
there you go.
Steven?
Nah, I mean, it's cool, but I don't. It's impressive that they have retooled so fast after having one of arguably the best dynasties that the NFL has ever seen with Belichick and Brady. But I mean,
Candy?
I like the story. I like the to Mel's point, to stick it to people. Mike Vrabel has a chance to do that, and kudos to him and the coaching job he's done with the Patriots this year.
Okay. Well, right now, none of us predicted New England to win, so obviously, if they win, then we all look like idiots, but that's okay. I'd rather look like an idiot and they end up winning. So go ahead, Mel.
No, I'm a moonwalk on what I said. I wouldn't mind Robert Kraft winning it either. What they've done is remarkable, and it'd be great for him to win so he could get up there in his box and turn around and drop his drawers as well and tell all the entire Hall of Fame committee that they can kiss his entire pasty white behind.
That's funny. I like that was good. One of your better acts there, Mel. Get the jersey out there, Jeremy. That's worth the jersey look. Okay.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Mel.
Mary,
That's all right, no problem. We'll do it another time. But all right, go ahead, Ben.
I mean, I can respect what the Patriots have done. I mean, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, what those guys were able to do during their time together was incredible. But once again, it goes back to what I said. I don't want to see Robert Kraft pasty white behind. I don't want to see that. I think the Seattle Seahawks and what everybody thought would never ever happen again, because when Pete Carroll and the Legion of Boom and Beast Mode left, they thought it would never be recaptured. Coach McDonald is a coach that nobody wants to deal with. So while I can respect what the Patriots have done, and Bill Belichick is not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and Robert Kraft has been told he's not going to be a Hall of Famer, I don't want to see either one of their pasty booties. I don't want to see nothing like that. I hope it's a good game, but the Patriots fans are hard to deal with, man. You would think they ain't never lost a Super Bowl the way they talk trash. So great for what they've done for the game and mean to the game. But what you called it, Marv, the U.S. Seahawks? Yeah. I want to see Sam Darnold and those guys, break that thing. This some get back, because Seattle's supposed to go back-to-back Super Bowls against Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, and then obviously Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll messed that up. But yeah, respect the Patriots, but they're going down. I hope they go down.
Okay. Well, like I said, NFL history to be made, right? One way or the other. All right, go ahead, Marvin.
Yeah, what the Patriots has done has been remarkable. Again, it goes back to leadership matters, alignment matters, and for a long time, they had their head coach and they had their owner and they had the GM and they had their quarterback, and regardless of whatever drama was going on, them dudes was professional and it was about winning. And they did that at a high level. And now with Belichick gone and Brady gone, Kraft finds himself again back in the Super Bowl. And again, he's one of the common denominators here. Leadership matters. So I think it's historic. I'm a Jet fan. I'm a New York sports fan who absolutely despises everything Boston. But I still could be objective and recognize greatness. He's been one of the great owners of his era, period. And this whole situation is historic.
Okay. Well, bottom line is history will be made on Sunday. No matter. Final topic, then we go to parting shots. Patriots multi-Super Bowl champion pass rusher William McGinnis discussed Spygate allegations against the Patriots. He said, if we knew your signals and plays, we would have won 8 blank Super Bowls. Do you think Spygate actually happened, Jeremy?
Well, considering they did an investigation and they said it happened, I think it did. What are you going to say? The NFL investigated them, found evidence, and made the suspensions happen and fine. So yes, it happened.
So do you agree with McGinnis? They would have won 8?
No, because they won 8. They would have won 8. I'm
exactly.
sorry.
It's a double-edged sword. Okay, Steven.
Yeah, it's more posturing from Willie. We know it happened. I mean, even more so, like they're not the only team that did this. Like when we were hearing all the nonsense talk last week when Belichick didn't get in the Hall of Fame, like and they were trying to cite Spygate as a reason of making him pay penance. Jimmy Johnson came out and was like, listen, we used to steal signs too. We used to record people's practices too. Like it wasn't like this is a new thing that was going on. It's just the level that it was going on and what they were going through was something the NFL had never seen before. And yes, it absolutely happened. Fines, suspensions, etc. were levied. They were punished. It happened. It was a real thing. You can't talk that away. So them winning eight. I agree with Jeremy. They would have won 8. I don't think but I won't put it all on the other 6, and that's the reason why they won. I'm not gonna listen. Knowing the plays or not, like a lot of times, guys on the field call plays out, and then what happens? You check out of it, you audible out of it. It's not always going to help you in some certain situations, and sometimes you know what's going on. Run a play, then run a variation off of that to bust something out on an offense, on a defense. So I don't think it holds as much weight as you think it is. It's win, lose, or draw. But I mean, to sit there and say it didn't happen. I mean, who you lying to? Who you lying to, Willie? Come on.
The only thing I'll say about it, and I want to make it rapid fire the rest of the way so everybody gets their parting shots in. Willie McGinnis is blowing off a little bit of heat. That's all he is. Obviously, that's why he said they could have won 8 Super Bowls. Take it for whatever sort of candy. Blowing off steam.
I don't know that they could have, but it happened. They owned up to it. They didn't own up to it, but they were investigated. It tarnished their reputation, but they did it. So they were fined, and we need to put it past them.
Okay, Mel.
I think Steve brought it up, or somebody brought it up. I mean, Jimmy Johnson talked about it. I mean, every team tries to do something to get an edge, and you'd be surprised. There's a lot of tells in games that teams tip their hand as far as what they're doing. I could go back to a story when we played in the Rose Bowl, but we don't have time for all that. But I don't really care, to be honest with you, about it. It's over. It's done with. I mean, that was, I don't know how many years ago. Mangini, I think, ratted him out when he got the New York Jets job. He didn't want them to do that to him, and he ratted out his boss. Which it says a lot about Mangini. But I really don't care, because everybody's looking for an edge. A lot of these guys watch film, and there's certain tells. Every team has a tell. And if you're a really good coach, you'll be able to pick those things up.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, Willie McGinnis, he was going off. I mean, Willie trying to act like, we don't remember this stuff. The only thing I don't like about the whole situation was Roger Goodell didn't show us what they did. They burnt the tapes. Oh, so you're gonna do it and burn the tape? You're not gonna show us? Yeah. To me, that's more corruption than actually stealing. You're not gonna show us? Yeah, we saw it. It was bad. So we're going to burn it. Really, Roger? Anyway, yeah, Willie McGinnis was blowing off some steam, but you cheated. You got caught, you got fined, you got suspended, and you got to keep playing. But Willie McGinnis don't like the fact that they don't like the fact that he don't want people thinking that the only reason why they won is because they cheated. I say, well, the Houston Astros ain't won another World Series since they had all those trash cans, right? Have they won since? I'm just saying. I'm not saying it was because of the cheating, but if you didn't need the cheating, you wouldn't have cheated. If you didn't need to do it, you wouldn't have done it. So we don't know if it's the reason why you won or not. But to say, man, y'all just mad. Are we mad or are we speaking facts? If you disrespected me 20 years ago, you want me to get over it. I have not gotten over it. Man, that was 20 years ago, man. You shouldn't have done it. So, yeah, I don't think their dynasty is tarnished because of what they did. But that is why they are the evil empire. And we need to make sure they are dethroned. They don't need to win anything. They've won enough. They've won 6. That's enough. Okay, let's see if you can win without you. You lost to Eli. So you probably should have cheated when you didn't. You lost to Eli twice. He broke up that undefeated season. So yeah, Willie, I respect you, but come on, bro. We remember. Ain't crazy.
All right, Marvin, you have the last word on it. Then we go to our parting shots.
Willie's dealing with the consequences of integrity, issues of integrity, and what I think what he's saying really is the coaches cheated, the players didn't cheat. The coaches did that, and is it realistic or possible that the coaches cheated? That impacted their game plan, but they're not telling the players where they got all this information from. Yeah, that's realistic. So that's probably what he means. I don't know, man. It's a tough situation. It's one of those unfortunate things that will always be a cloud over the Patriots dynasties. It's always going to be there. It's like Pete Rose and his situation. It's like you're never going to separate the two. And that's sad, man, because at the end of the day, like I said, I think the players are the ones who are probably the victims, if you want to find a victim in this, because they go out there and play hard, and they're not a part of any scandal or knowing of any scandal. But obviously these coaches did what they did. So yeah, tough deal, man. It is what it is.
All right, we have time for parting shots. Got about a minute and a half for each person to do it. Give me your parting shot for the night, Marvin.
Parting shot for the night. Listen, I am really excited about this historic movement, this historic moment with Sam Darnold. USC has put more players in the NFL than any other college. If they're not number one, they're number two, depending on the year. So it's crazy to think that of the almost 500 players that have been drafted into the NFL, we've never had a Super Bowl champion quarterback. We never had a quarterback start the Super Bowl. Listen, this year, NFL football is huge. We're just going over having historic numbers, and I'm really happy to see this guy lead this small market Seattle team back into the postseason, back into the Super Bowl. Just a few years from removed from Pete Carroll and what he was doing, to think that organization was able to really revamp itself and get back on its feet and get to this caliber of football. And they're doing it for the first time with the SC quarterback lead. And it's awesome, man. So I'm looking forward to Sunday. Should be a great game. Go Seahawks.
All right, then, parting shots.
My parting shot says everybody want to make this big thing about Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft not getting into the Hall of Fame, right? No one's going crazy like that when T.O. didn't get into the Hall of Fame. They want to switch things up because they got it wrong with Bill Belichick, right, and Robert Kraft. They made up rules to keep T.O. out, and I'm gonna keep saying this. Scott and all the beat writers out there. I used to think a lot of people want to be beat writers, but not talking about you, Scott, but I thought a lot of people want to be beat writers because they like these teams. But they want to be beat writers because they get to get votes into the Hall of Fame. You mean to tell me the people who write about these teams are the reason why certain players aren't getting in? When it comes to the Hall of Fame and the National Football League, it is the hardest and most prestigious Hall of Fame to get in. But we live in a world where Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft ain't in the Hall of Fame, and Barry Bonds ain't in the Hall of Fame. Get out. The Hall of Fame is becoming a joke, people, because if the people who get to vote people in, right, making sure they got 270 characters and they write it in third person, I got a problem with that. And before I go, cereal is soup, and I will die on that hill.
Interesting. Okay. Cereal is soup. Okay. All right, Mel, parting shots.
Yeah, I'm right there with Ben. I mean, I can't stand the people who are in charge of voting for the Hall of Fames, the different Hall of Fames, whether it's baseball Hall of Fame or there's the NFL. They feel so empowered, like they make themselves bigger than what they really are. I mean, if my eyes tell me and your eyes tell me and everybody else's eyes tell me that this person is a Hall of Famer, then that person is probably a Hall of Famer. Now, who gives you the right to say that they're not a Hall of Famer? And I couldn't believe it. I know, Ben was talking about T.O. I mean, we all know that T.O. was a Hall of Famer, and why he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer is beyond me. It's because he rubbed a couple people the wrong way. So what? That had nothing to do with the way that he played. It had nothing to do with the way he played. Spygate and all that other kind of stuff. Who cares? This guy, Robert Kraft, what he's done, that franchise has been this gold standard of franchises for the better part of 30 years. And he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's been to more Super Bowls than any other owner. He's tied for the most Super Bowl wins ever. And he and his coach can't get in the first time. If they're not Hall of Famers, then there shouldn't be a Hall of Fame.
Okay, fair enough. Candy?
kudos to the LaFleur brothers for being brothers that now are head coaches, just like the Harbaugh brothers.
Okay, very good. I like that. That may be a future topic, but glad you whet everybody's appetite. Go ahead, Steven.
I got a few little things I want to back off onto it. I know we are all talking about the Hall of Fame, and I'm definitely looking forward to who gets in. And me, Ben, and Marvin talked about this last week, and I did hear something from one of our Hall of Fame voters as to why we are not seeing them get in. It's because the NFL decided in their great wisdom, the Hall of Fame, that they're going to lump in the senior committee with the coaches and the executives is all one category. So when you have a senior class that has over 7 guys in it, more than a handful, it's their last years to get in. That is the reason why we are not getting Robert Kraft in. That is the reason why we're not getting Bill Belichick in. And if that is the reason why they're not getting in, there's no reason Roger Craig should not be announced as a Hall of Fame within the next 3 days. Well, I think it's Thursday, right? Thursday is the day that
he should have been in there.
If Roger Craig's name,
but I mean, he should have been in there.
We burned the whole institution down, and it means nothing. It means nothing.
Yeah, he should have been there.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been on. Me, Marvin, Ben, we've been beating on this drum for almost a year now. So that
I think he was the first running back to go 1,000, wasn't he?
He was the first. He was me and Marvin, we were talking about this. He is the first one, 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. He's been out of the league for 30 years. There's no reason why he's still standing there. So, and Eddie's right. It needs to be separate. They need to have their own vote, the senior committee, outside of everything. The executive should be put in another aspect of it, and then your current eligible players. You need to break it all apart. There shouldn't be a thing in there like, well, you can either vote for the senior committee members or you can vote for the head coach and the executive class. That's total nonsense. Other than that, my partnership, what I'm looking forward to, we got a great lineup this week as we're going to be joined by Temple Owls offensive lineman, team captain, Mr. Eric King's going to be joining us tomorrow. And we also have a special interview Thursday afternoon with wellness expert David Schmidt. It's going to be a fun week, and then obviously, I'll be covering Knucklemania B6 BKFC here in Philadelphia. But weigh-ins and the event Friday and Saturday, so it should be a fun event. They have rebroken the combat sports attendance record because they have sold over 20,000 tickets. They sold over 17,000 tickets last January when they held their first event there at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. So it's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be a great week for content here on the South Florida Tribune. That's my parting shot for you guys.
Very good. Okay, Jeremy.
Well, he kind of stole my thunder. I was going to talk about the beat writers that actually said they were voting for the last year guys getting in versus the guys they know will get in the Hall of Fame, whether they're first ballot or not, which is all 3 of the ones that got snubbed by the post that I seen in the NFLnetwork.com, which was Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft, and Eli Manning. They all said that was a huge snub, that the 3 of them did not get in. And I actually agree with the beat writer that I would have taken those last eligibility guys that have their last chance to get in that deserve to be in. And I agree with Steve. It should be Roger Craig and Torrey Holt and a couple of others that was in that group that should get in.
How's Elsie Greenwood still there?
Right. That's
all right,
the one we mentioned first.
Right. I said 2 minutes, not 2 hours. All right. Well, I don't mind stretching a little bit. Candy, still it's a station break, right, Stephen? Okay, that's why I just want to send a special thanks to Molly Middleton, who did a great job accommodating the South Florida Tribune in Mobile, Alabama, and we had a really good time there. Looking forward to making that a regular annual event for us. I got 20. If you wonder why my voice is a little raspy, and I had a very big crew helping me out a little, so I wasn't going to lose it tonight. I had 6 people letting me throughout the day, you don't have to lose your voice on this show. I was getting it from all angles, and leading the charge was Rachel. If that wasn't good enough, I was getting it from Troop on the back end. It's okay. We can do this. Save your voice. Save your voice. You know it got to work out over the weekend. 24 to the tune of 24 times. Molly Middleton, I don't know if you're out there listening. We'll make sure we get this tape to you. We got a lot more. I told her we got a lot more stuff coming down the pipeline until April and May, Mal. So I got a story to be written as well on the Senior Bowl. Great experience. And if you've ever been to the University of South Alabama Jaguars campus, that's actually a nice little campus down there out in South Alabama as well. All right, so great job by the group. But Candy, go ahead and give us a station break and promote the book.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, talks about his 40 plus years in the media business and how it has evolved and changed over those years. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. It's also available wherever you get your audiobook as well. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. In fact, I would highly recommend you go to our website and check out Jeremy's columns. He's been writing about all kinds of draft prospects, and I'm sure he'll talk a little bit more about that, but go check it out. The other thing is, if you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. One last thing, if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to us. Please do so. I don't know what you're waiting for. Click it, like it, share us with all your friends and family, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. You don't want to miss a show like this.
All right, Ben, I don't know if you sent us a link to your book at all. Have you sent it to us? If you haven't, please do so, and we'll put it on the homepage, and they can get your book off our website as well. That's what happens when you have a Mercedes handling the back end, okay? And you have a motor mouth like me talking about the front end, okay? You follow me? Contrary to what it is.
I wouldn't know about no Mercedes handling the back end. We got a box Chevy handling my back end. That's why it ain't working.
Oh, okay. We got a roll call or whatever you want, Rolls Royce, Mercedes. All I do is carry this stuff out and try to make sure we get it right. So, Ben, I don't know if you have a link on the website, but you're going to get one. Marvin, obviously, he looks at me as his coach, and we have a lot more to do, don't we, Marvin? Don't we ever, brother?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we got started tonight. We get 2 tomorrow. We got another one on Sunday.
I got 3 tomorrow with you. With South Florida Tribune.
Yeah, you do. 2 with me on the back end and whatever you're doing with these other guys on the front end. Great show tonight. I enjoyed it. I'm going to get a little feedback while we're live here. Some feedback about the parting shot format. Did that work for everybody tonight?
I like it.
All right, get used to it. Tom Shanahan, I don't know if you're watching it. So that'll be the new code words there, parting shots. So get it okay what they want. I'll make sure we get our hay out of the way. All right, there you go. Not a lot of caffeine today, but at any rate, good show by everybody. And looking forward to continuing this format until the day I can no longer do this, and I'm trying to put that off as long as I can. So great job by Jeremy. Great job by Steven. Great job by Candy, Marvin, Ben, and Mel. And yes, my voice lived to see the end of the show. So, all right, Jeremy, you have one last thing you'd like to get off your chest? All right, Jeremy, you have one thing you always like to say when you end the show. Go ahead, give it to this group.
Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love, everybody.
All right, that does it for us. We got a lot of programming the rest of the week, so I hope you can stay tuned. You get ready for the Motor City Madmouth and Marvin on the mic show. That'll be around 8:00 p.m. Eastern time. So that does it for us tonight. So take care, everybody, and have yourself a great night. And thank you very much for joining us. Bye now.